BYU football game week as the Cougars get ready for the Southern Illinois Salukis. And joining me now here on KSL is Logan Lutui, outside edge rusher. And Logan, it's your third year with the BYU football program, and fans that maybe aren't as familiar with you, it feels like they're going to maybe have a great chance to get to know you this year. How's your journey at BYU these first couple years been for you so far?
It's been great. I got here back at 22, and it's been a great learning process here at BYU, getting to know the system and playing some great teams. And it's just a great school to play for, and I'm glad and happy that I'm here.
Take us back when you left Weber State and came here to BYU. What went into that decision?
It was just a decision between me and my wife. We were expecting our first child at the time, so it was just easier for us to be down here at Provo, closer to family. And after that, leading up to that fall camp, I was just told to just be on notice if I'll be brought on, and I got the chance to get on here on 22 during fall camp, and it's been a great ride since.
And I asked that because Weber State, people think Jay Hill. He comes here to BYU 1 year later.
Yeah.
How excited were you when Jay ultimately came here, became the DC? Because he just was talking to him, and he was like, we recruited him at Weber, and he's becoming the player that we envisioned him being.
Yeah, I was super happy to get that news, to hear that he was coming to BYU. I played in his defense the previous 2 years, so I was really familiar with it, and I just love playing for Coach Hill and Coach Kalani, so it's pretty great playing for those two great coaches.
You had a chance to start in a game, I believe it was that Oregon game in 2022. Yeah. Last year, though, you were kind of dealing with some injuries. What were you playing through? Because I know by season's end around that Oklahoma State game, you're getting a lot more snaps.
Yeah, in that 2022 season after the Oregon game, we played Wyoming. In that game, I tore my ACL. And so I ended up not getting surgery until like the end of that year. So that recovery process bled into that 2023 season, which held me out with from the first few games, and even building back in, I was limited. I had limited snaps, so it wasn't until the end of the season that I was able to get full go again and get a lot more quality reps.
When did you feel like you're like, I'm back to myself?
The Oklahoma State game, the last game of the season, was where I felt the most ready throughout that whole season. But it wasn't until this spring ball that I was able to have a good off season and strengthen my knee again that I felt really confident in my play again.
How excited are you for the chance to contribute to a pass rush that, Jay Hill, Kalani, they're all like, they got to generate a pass rush. They got to be able to create some pressure. How do you feel like you can provide those efforts?
Yeah, we've had a lot more emphasis on urgency with our pass rush, and I think that's something that's been lacking this past couple of years. We have great coaches that's been helping us, Coach K-Pop, Coach Boha, Coach Anderson, and Coach Chad. They've all been great coaches, coached at great schools, developed some great pass rush D linemen, and they brought some great knowledge for us, and we feel like we're going to do that this year.
You mentioned, I want to go away from the field a little bit. You mentioned you're married, got a kid.
Yeah.
How much are you enjoying the BYU experience from that aspect, being a married man here at BYU?
Oh, it's great. Coach Kalani does a great job of taking care of us married people with married players with wives and children, and so.
What does he do?
He has a lot. He does activities for the wives, and we're able to bring our kids to practice and stuff. So, but even during fall camp, it's not as strenuous. It's still a very intense fall camp, but hours-wise, it's not as strenuous as it was a few years ago because he knows people have families, and he just has a good system going here.
How excited are you going back to the field to get back out at LES on Saturday against Southern Illinois, and a great opportunity, kind of a tone-setter opportunity for this team?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's always a great opportunity to play at LES, and all my experiences there, the crowd's been great, and we're just ready to give a good show on Saturday.
How would you describe your strengths as a defensive end?
I think something I've focused on since I entered college was just technique. I feel like I'm a pretty good technician. Physicality is something that I feel like is embedded in a lot of Polynesians, so I feel like that's something I have that helps me within my play and just playing with more urgency.
Well, Logan, it's a pleasure chatting, and looking forward to seeing you this season. Stay healthy, and best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much.